Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
Whether or not you are a Star Wars fan, there is a good chance that you have heard this epic line from anywhere but Star Wars. Even though episodes 4, 5, and 6 were George Lucas's collective magnum opus, the father of Luke Skywalker in the highly controversial prequels, episodes 1 to 3, is better explored. From an innocent, humble slave to becoming the most powerful dark Sith in the galaxy, Anakin Skywalker succumbs to the dark side in the unexpected turn of events as we slowly see his character go down the rabbit hole in every passing episode. Many attributed Anakin's deep obsession with Padmé, which led him to make irrational decisions. Although that is true, there is more than meets the eye. To understand why Anakin chose the dark side, we need to understand the psychological profile of Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker was born into slavery in Tatooine from the very beginning, owned by Watto, the dealer. Serendipitously, an opportunity was put forth before him when he met Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan Kenobi, where they decided to take young Anakin with them to become a Jedi. Although it seemed that he struck gold, it was too good to be true. When he was brought before the Jedi Council back into the Republic, there were lingering scruples, such as Anakin abandoning his mother to pursue better opportunities. This made Yoda and the others skeptical that his own emotions and guilt may one day betray him and lead him astray. His mother was the closest person to him, so the abandonment of his mother while being treated cautiously by the Republic took a toll on him. Considering this, you could say that Anakin was, in a sense, lied to, since the opportunity was not as promised by Qui-Gon, and the scrutiny by the Council, which is contemptuous of Anakin, possibly feeling like a pariah, an outsider, rather than being a part of them. Like his slave life back in Tatooine, he has again become enslaved by the life he did not want, and when that realization did occur, it was already too late. Anakin later on was known for not following orders correctly when given and acting irrationally against the interests of the Council. Although you can say that it is a part of his personality and character, it can also be seen as a protest against the Republic, protesting the false freedom that they promised. This anger and frustration, slowly accumulating within him, made him vulnerable to Chancellor Palpatine at the time. Anakin was easily manipulated since he finally heard what he wanted to hear. Save Padmé, the Jedi Council does not appreciate your talent. For the first time, Anakin thinks that someone finally understood him. Palpatine was not the one that made Anakin destroy the Republic, but only encouraged and exacerbated it under Palpatine's guidance. It was a buildup of sentiment that existed within Anakin until he could no longer suppress these feelings. It was a breath of fresh air as these deceiving words poured out of Palpatine's mouth. Maybe Anakin knew that he was being lied to and deceived, but his anguish made him want to believe, even though it was far from the truth. At least Anakin wanted the truth. In the end, when Anakin asked Padmé to come with him to rule a galaxy, she rejected him and slowly slipped away from his grasp. His lover, the person that he was closest to, no longer was by his side. Not only was Padmé no longer Anakin's companion, Anakin saw her like the rest of the Galactic Republic. She was just like the entire council that rejected him and never accepted him. And in that instant, he used the Force to choke Padmé. It was the first time in the prequel trilogy that we see his iconic choke force as in episodes 4, 5, and 6. The loneliness and betrayal gradually transformed him into the cold and ruthless Darth Vader we now know him as. We see a glimpse of Darth Vader in episode 2. After Anakin discovers his mother was captured, she dies in his arms. The loneliness and the pain weighed in on him as he exuded this by massacring everyone in the village, not only the men but also the women and children. Anakin's loneliness only stopped when he was in the presence of Padmé. Padmé only served as a breaking point for Anakin to be strangled by his loneliness and pain until he was no longer the Anakin we knew. In a sense, his loneliness, betrayal, and pain could symbolize his dark side, Darth Vader. He let his darkness, Darth Vader, strangle whatever was left of him. And so when Obi-Wan Kenobi told Luke Skywalker that his father was killed by Darth Vader, he was not really wrong. He was right.